Welcome to the MPG podcast, where your host, John Grabio, talks racing, driving, training, and cars with Newman Watts racing driver Jordan Missick. And now, here's John and Jordan.
Well, Jordan Missick, welcome to the MPG podcast. Thanks for joining us today, August 26th. I'm John Graybeal, and I am in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
I am. Yeah. Flying at the lovely Marriott. Seems fine. Getting ready to go have dinner. Seems fine. You were in the MPG garage.
Yeah, another day in the MPG garage, I should say. You know, we just got done with a 2-day test here at Audubon on the North Circuit. So, you know, everything's going really well with us so far. We're enjoying the off break, I should say, in the middle of the summer. So, officially 1 month, I believe, until we're back on track in Sebring for the FR Americas Championship Series. So, you know, I thought this break, when it first started, it was just going to fly by. Now that I think about it, it's only been half a month. It is going by so slow. It's going by so slow. But then I'm going to think to myself, I'm going to be like, right when we get back into the race car and we get back to all these races at Sebring, Homestead, and Circuit of the Americas to end out the year, that's going to fly by. That's when business will pick up, and that's when all that's going to fly by. So, you know, I guess I should take the moment while I can and think things through and enjoy it while it lasts right now, because it's going to be over before we know it once it gets started.
Right. So quick recap. Sunday was Indy 500 day, and you ran 2 radical races?
Yeah, had 2 radical races here at the Audubon, which I got to condemn Mike for getting those 2 races in. But then again, I got to, you know, throw the finger at him for scheduling on the exact same day and the exact same time of the Indy 500, because I have to miss most of that race because of that. But I know, granted to him, he had the race direct the whole race, so he didn't get to see any of it. So
That's Mike Ritter, the race director there at the Audubon Country Club.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I missed all the races. I was out flying, and that day I did watch a little bit of the race, not while I was actually flying an airplane, but I did watch the race in the back of the airplane.
You don't mean to tell me you guys are on autopilot watching the races? Come on now.
No, not at all. Not at all. And so I missed those races, but yeah, so how did it go? How did those radical races go?
Well, you know, I got a lot of there's been a lot of talk about making the radical races a little bit interesting. Now, first and foremost, I'm going to point this out there to all the viewers and everything about what's going on with the radical races and why. Because recently, in the past couple of races, we've noticed that there's been a very low numbers and substantial for car count with the radical races. So first and foremost, I want to give the reason why. And the real reason is because some people have gotten their cars sold, but all in all, the real reason is because of this whole pandemic. It's been very hard for the radical in the UK to get parts shipped from the different continents and over by ship, because they bring them over by ship and bring both cars and parts by ship. So it's been very hard for them to get those to go through. They want to get those to go through all the way into the US. So it's been very hard for them. So it's been really hard to get parts into the US for the people to get the parts that they need to do. So people have kind of wrecked their cars in a sense. So I think we want to say in the Team Stradale shop, we have about maybe 6, maybe 7 cars that are currently waiting for parts to get rebuilt. But right now we don't have those parts, as they're still waiting to get shipped overseas. So that's the problem that they're having with the Radical Cup Series here at the Audubon Country Club, and that's why we're having low number counts. So I'll get to the races now. What happened was we had 2 races on Sunday. And to make things interesting, because of low car count, I would just pull away from the field right at the drop of the green flag. So to make things interesting, I had a couple of people challenge me to different challenges throughout the weekend, and I had to put those challenges into use. So what I did was, the first race had to do a bit of a stop and go pit stop and see if I could come out behind the leaders and see if I could catch them and pass them again to win the race. So the whole entire race, I was pushing as hard as I can to, create as much of a gap and so I could be able to pit and then finish in front of them. With that being said, I actually got to the early gap earlier than I was expected to, so I was able to pit a little bit earlier. And then with about 5 laps to go, I caught up to the early pack, and then a yellow flag came out. So with that was a double yellow, so I couldn't pass anybody. So we wasted 2 laps under yellow. Then they red flagged the race, came down pit road because the mess would have been too long to clean up. So they went ahead and red flagged the race. I'll give my congratulations.
So there was a wreck. So the yellow flag came out.
Yep.
And which means no passing.
Correct. Yeah, you're behind the safety car.
What's a double yellow?
So the double yellow well, okay, I'll go ahead and rephrase it. A local yellow, which is just in that one corner, means you can't pass in that corner in the section where the crash has taken place. Once you get to the next corner station, they'll be probably waving a green flag, meaning you can resume back to racing. Now, local yellows mean that the guy's probably just spun, he's off track, there's an incident. The race is probably going to continue to stay under the green flag. You can continue racing once you pass that local yellow area. A double yellow is what we had, means the whole track, it's called a full course yellow. The full course goes under a yellow flag, meaning you can't pass anywhere, and then a safety car comes out on track to pick up the field. So it's basically a caution flag for those who don't know. So yeah, we were under the full course yellow.
Full course yellow, so no passing at all.
Correct.
And there was a crash, so the red flag came out, which means everybody stops on the track.
Well, not on the track. We don't stop exactly on the track. So what we do is the pace car brings us down pit road, and we stop on pit road while the red flag is displayed. So it stays yellow until we get to pit road, and then the red's displayed.
Gotcha.
So once we were under the red flag, we were just kind of sitting there about maybe 10, 15 minutes, and then they got the race back under yellow to where we did one pace lap and then got to get back underway. So I was sitting in third, and there was probably 2 laps to go when we got going again on the green, and I made the pass on Nico Karavitis into turn 1 on the restart to put myself up in the second, and then later that lap I made the pass on John Stafford going into turn 11 on that same lap to take the lead. Now he put up a little bit of a fight, which I wasn't expecting him to do. He defended the inside, which I was expecting, so I went to his outside. And then he laid off early under braking, and I went in deep. But then Stafford came back and let off the brakes a little bit to try to catch me by surprise underneath the braking zone. So I had to try my best to just roll the outside in turn 11, which is a slow 90-degree right-hander. And I was able to do that for the exit to come up with the lead and eventually with the win in the first race.
Wow. Oh, so you win the first race. Congratulations.
Yeah. So I go from lead to a stop and go pit stop, which the delta for the stop and go pit stop was roughly about 20 seconds. That includes coming to pit speed, stopping, and then getting underway. So I came back out in third and then was able to pass my way back in the first. So then for the second race, we decided to invert the field a little bit. So me and Nico started in fourth and fifth spot. And then by the start of the race, I was up to second, and then after the second lap, I was up to the lead, and then eventually just ran away with the win in that race.
Now, so let's just briefly here. I don't want to stay on this topic very long, but the one of the points is you basically you're handicapping yourself so that you got an opportunity to really push yourself and push the car. Yep. Because you had a specific goal in mind to get back to the front. And it was really about challenging, like you had mentioned earlier, challenging yourself to get out there and really do some driving.
Yeah, not only that, but I also want to give like the members who are also racing a chance to, show that they're not just racing for second, that they have a chance to possibly win this race. Now, granted, I will probably catch up and I will probably be most likely going to be much faster than them. But I want to push myself as well as push the other members to not just fight for only second, but to make them think they have a chance to win as well, and to kind of level out the playing field a little bit, because this is a country club. These are just races supposed to be fun. We're not racing for prize money or professional trophies here. We're just out here to have fun. So I'm trying to make the playing field as level as I can to push myself, so I am not just out doing a 15 or 25-minute session by myself, but also racing against other guys and trying to have fun with them and make the race interesting for everyone else.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, these guys they're part-time. You're a professional race car driver, and full-time professional race car driver. And so yeah, I think it was great, and I think everybody had fun, and yeah, I heard great things about the race. So congratulations on 2 wins.
Thank you very much, and we look forward for more.
And then Tuesday, the track's back open. Monday's our day off there at the club, and Tuesday's track's back open. And I got to watch you lap quite a bit, and got a new. Well, you're out on Sunday,
Yep.
or is it? Yeah, Saturday, I guess. Saturday, right? You're out Saturday
Yes.
a little bit with the new gearbox in the F3 car, the Newman Watts Autobahn Kart Circuit F3. Is that?
Yeah, you could say Kart Circuit. Well, you forgot the Autobahn, Kart Circuit Autobahn. You got to leave that name in there.
Okay, so the Newman Watts Kart Circuit Autobahn F3 car, new gearbox on Saturday, which I didn't know. This is interesting. Again, real quick, you have to break in the gearbox.
Yeah, so it's all a mechanical part and everything. So what you do normally to do the break-in process for the gearbox is it's a very boring day. I'll just put that straight forward. It's a very boring day. All you do is you go at like half speed, you're adding throttle, and then you're laying off the throttle, adding throttle, laying off the throttle, and then a little bit of braking here and there. So you're doing that constantly for 75 miles until the gearbox is fully worn in, fully broken in, and then you can finally open it up to regular speed. But until then, it's gas and brake, and it slowly gets faster and faster as each session goes on. So, like I said, it's a very boring day because you go out with everybody and they just pass you, and you just have to watch them take off while you gotta sit and do gas and brake, gas and throttle.
Well, that's not what happened Tuesday. So Tuesday you get on. So we have 2 tracks there at the Audubon Country Club, South Track, North Track. So you get out to the North Track, which is a little bit shorter, 1.7 miles. Is that correct?
1.5, I believe.
1.5. You get out there and you are tearing it up yesterday. I was there yesterday. I got to watch, and I saw your times, blisteringly fast. So to give an idea, a Spec Miata is on that track at about minute 17 is pretty reasonable. That would be I'd be maybe minute 20 in a Spec Miata. My son, who's much faster, is minute 17-ish. Super fast guys are 1:15s on that track. A Radical does
doing about minute to 59-second lap times. A Radical.
And that's fast. You, however, in the F3 were in the into the 50s, right?
56.5 was our fastest that we got down to.
56.5, which is knocking on doors of records. Now, there's not a lot of F3s, not a lot of F3s there, so difficult to compare that. But as far as any car out there, you're knocking on the door for member record on the North Track there. How did it feel?
At first it was feeling a lot different. It was very tight setup that we put in the car, so the car wasn't turning as well as we'd like it to at the very beginning. But once we put in the right setup and new tires on the car, we have 2 cars, obviously, with me and my teammate Victor Franzoni. So with the gearbox, going out, I was able to drive Victor's car for a little bit in a testing session on the South Track, and I think we hit the setup right with that car. So we applied the same setup to my car once we got the gearbox left. And we were able to put almost the exact same lap times in my car. And on North Track, it was really hooked up really well. The car feels very nimble. You can clearly see it too, that the car is much more reactive when it comes to turning, and it's, it wants to do what you're telling it to do, finally, instead of being lazy and not doing it in one of the initial turn-ins. So I want to say the car felt really good, and we were able to pull up a 56.5 lap time on North Track. So the car itself feels really, really good, and I'm very happy to when the car was working right for our standards.
Yeah, and so does the setup change on every track that you go to? Are you going to have a different setup, or did you guys just find the sweet spot for the car now?
So what you don't really want to do, every track's different and every setup's different, obviously. You kind of judge the track you judge the setup, I should say, based on the track you're going to. So for instance, Audubon here, it's a kind of a bumpy track, so we try to go with a more of a softer setup, I would say. And it's the same thing when we go to Sebring, I want to say, because Sebring is one of the more bumpy tracks in the United States. So that track, most IndyCar teams go there to test out equipment and to stress test equipment, I should say. So that's a track where we're going to be, judging our setup based on the track itself. So we're going to be judging our setup based on the bumpiness of the track as well as setting it up for the bumpiness. Whereas you go to maybe another track like Barber or like another track that's very smooth, that track's going to be a totally different setup than where we go to Barber. So each setup of the car is kind of based on what the track layout you're going to, as well as you can come up with a setup, bring it to the track, and then start adjusting that car based on the track itself and what the track's giving you and the car's giving you input-wise. But you want to be very close when you unload off the truck, because if you don't unload off the truck very fast, you're in for a long weekend. Whereas if you unload off the truck very quick, the weekend could go either it can go really smooth for you, and you might have to make only minor adjustments. Whereas if you are bad, you may have to make some major adjustments.
Interesting. Okay. So pretty happy that so yesterday and today, did you make any changes on your second testing day today?
Not many changes today. We were making some changes tire pressure wise, as well as some other mechanical adjustments that we were doing, but not too many adjustments, major adjustments I should say, but we were able to find some speed here and there in different areas that we think could work into our advantage, especially on short runs and the long runs too. So we're very happy with the things that we found, and we think these little nuances that we found could affect and kind of work towards our advantage when we go to some of these races in the remaining weekends of the year.
Oh, interesting. And more testing this week? Are you done for the week or?
Done for this week, yeah. We're going to be done. Our next testing is going to be in about 2 weeks. September 8th and 9th, I believe, is our next test day here at the Autobahn. So my teammate Victor is going to be coming in with us. So we're going to have almost the whole team here working on the cars as well. So, that will be the real true test to see how both cars compare, how both of us as drivers compare to each other, and to see how much we've come in the past week or two in our hiatus break.
Okay, great. Next race is when?
The next race I'm going to be probably partaking in is going to be, I think it's the Margate Night Challenge here at Audubon at the kart track. I'm gonna go ahead and take part in that race. I got a buddy of mine as well coming up from St. Louis who races in F4s as well, so he's going to come join us in the kart race as well. So we're pretty excited for that, for both of us to kind of show what our experience in car racing can possibly do in karts as well as all these guys. So we're very familiar with these guys as well. So we're excited for the kart race here at the Audubon.
All right, great. Kart race. And then the next F3 race is?
Next F3 race is taking part at Sebring International Raceway down in Florida. That is the end of September, I believe. Yes, end of September.
Okay, fantastic. All right, Jordan. Thanks again for being on the podcast. Thanks for your time today. I know it was a busy day. It was hot there, right? Today it was supposed to be really hot, right?
Yeah, the last couple of days here at the Audubon have been in the 90s. So it's been 92 to 94 degrees. So very hot day. It's definitely not helping the tires or the grip as well. The track temperature was sure hot too. I believe when we took temperatures, the track temp was 115, but my team manager Brian took temp of one of the pieces of rubber that were on track, and I think it read like 125. So yeah, scorching hot temperatures on the track surface as well.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you. We're glad we're staying in touch with you. So yeah, chance to thank your sponsors and mention all your contact information.
Yes. Also, if you want to go to my contact information, just Google under Jordan Missig. Everything's going to be down there: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, everything, all the 9 yards is going to be there. And also my website will be there as well. And then I can't thank my sponsors yet again, Missig Performance Group for putting on the podcast, and my two main sponsors, Hard Circuit Audubon and Audubon Country Club, for doing everything they do and helping me move up in my racing career.
All right. Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you very much, John. Take care.